Likkutei Matos, Pei-Vav, second column, like 15 lines to the top of the second column. Okay, the Alter Rebbe is explaining, the last thing we're learning, the Alter Rebbe is explaining that this Hashem made yesh miyayin, and we have to make the ayin back into the Hashem made yesh miyayin, we have to make the yesh back into the ayin. So the Alter Rebbe asked the question, how can you call it yesh miyayin? Right? So Hashem is a real thing, we're not. So the answer is, yesh miyayin means because the level the yesh comes from is from an ayin, meaning a level of elokus, which is nothing compared to the essence of elokus. Because in order to create the world, Hashem had to limit himself into a world, like it says, into a yud, which is simtzum, he had to limit himself into the yud. And then, so therefore, where does the koyach come to be able to make the yesh and the ayin, again, to combine two opposites, like he gave before the mashal of darkness and light, all these the various different things, you have to have a koyach greater than all of them. So that's what our Jew is able to make from the yesh back into ayin, meaning it's a level, the realization of elokus. Now that ability to combine both things, is shown b'mreimav, is by tapping into a level greater than both. So he says now, the Gemara says, it makes peace in the heavenly spheres. Okay, so he says, in order to connect world and above world, it has to be a power higher than both. He said, but what causes that essential power to be revealed? In other words, to make shalom between two opposite things, you have to tap into a greater level. But what's causing that greater level to reveal itself? So he says, what causes this sustenance to come from the essence? To connect Chochmah and Bina, which is Tzimtzum and Hispashtus, which are seemingly the two opposite things. Is Aidei HaTeirah through Teirah. V'zeh o yachzik b'mosi yaseh shalom li mamish, and that's what it says. When somebody holds on to Hashem's strength, which is Teirah, that learning of Teirah causes Hashem to reveal himself in a level that you're connecting the two opposite things. Bina is a manifestation, revelation, a spreading out. Yud is simsum, which is contraction. Hey is spreading out and contraction, two opposites. Why does Torah do those two things? Why does Torah reveal the essence of Hashem to combine two opposites? He says, Torah comes in the level of Chochmah of Hashem. The Gemara says when a person learns Torah, Hashem sits opposite him and is learning the same thing you're learning. Now what does that mean? Obviously he's not sitting across here now, It means when a Jew learns, they are calling Hashem, they're revealing, like when you call somebody, they come. You're revealing godliness, that it comes down into the world. Therefore, when a person learns Torah, he's mamshi HaKadosh Baruch Hu sha'atzmu se'insa baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not the level of Shechina, which comes into the world. Kadosh Baruch Hu, we learned, is Kadosh, it's removed from world. That level, nimshach mislabish b'Torah, comes into the Torah that you're learning. That comes michochma nafkas. So therefore the Alter Rebbe says like this. What causes this level of elokus to become revealed? The learning of Torah. Why does learning of Torah do it? Because Torah is a level of chochma. And he's not done yet. But when a person learns Torah, they reveal HaKadosh Baruch Hu K'Sheira V'Sheina Kenegdoi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is the level of elokus, which is removed from world. He causes that level to be revealed in the world. What?
Mitzvot.
Yeah, now he's speaking about Torah. By the way, Torah without mitzvahs, mitzvahs without Torah doesn't work either. Right? So Torah brings down one level, essential level of Elokus. But the fact that Talmud Torah can have good kulam, in that aspect, Torah is greater. And that's what the Gemara says, you occupy yourself in Torah Lishma. What does Lishma mean? Lishma is feminine. It's not for Hashem. That would be Lishmai. Kol Eiseh B'Torah Lishma is for the sake of Torah. Torah is feminine. Right? Just new grammar. Gam Lishma, also L'Shem Hashem, also Lishma. Not only for Torah, but also for Hashem, because Shaydei Zenaf Chiber Eisis Yudkei. Through that, it becomes a level of Yudkei, which is again with Hashem. Therefore, Torah is called Shalom. Okay, let me explain this before we go further. Now, the Rebbe is explaining what brings down, what causes this level of Elokus to be revealed that can connect Yud and Hey and cause Hashem to want to come into the world. They're opposite things. To create a Yesh Miyayin. What causes that to happen? He says when a person learns Torah, Lishma, which means number one for the sake of Torah itself. And secondly, Lishma means for the sake of Elokus to come into Yud Kei. Because again, the feminine is the receiver. Right? The Yud is the giver, the Hey is the receiver. So now Elokus comes down, that causes Elokus to come into the world because it makes Shalom. What peace does it make between Yud and Hey? Between, or extrapolating it, between Elokus and world. That's what the job of Torah is. Okay, base. That's Pamaya Shalmaila. Pamaya Shalmaila means Hashem makes peace in the heavenly worlds between Yud and the Hey and all that. But what is the level Pamaya Shalmata? What is the earthly Pamaya? Is Asi, is Vavkei Shebeshem, the name of Vavkei. Okay, so Yud Kei is the higher Shalom and Vavkei is the lower Shalom. What does it mean? Higher, low, what does it mean? It's a passing of Divrei Hayom, we say it every day in davening. Right? L'cha Hashem Agdul v'Agvora v'Teferes. Shem Shi, Shem Midas Al Yaines, those are the 6 Midas of above. V'zel B'chinas Havav the Shem Havaya, which is the Vav of Yud Kei Vavkei. So Yud Kei Vavkei represents the 6 Midas. Now these 6 Midas, by the way, he didn't say it yet, Hashem created the world with. Sunday was Chesed, Monday was Gvura, Tuesday is Teferes. That means Hashem is revealing the Midas is already the level of world. Not Chochmah and Bina, but actual Elam Chesed Yibana with the Midas. Just like there is this level in Kedusha, Yishgam King Zayim Midas Erois. Okay, comes the 7 bad Midas. What is the source of their nourishment from the level of Kava smell to Kedusha, from the smell of Kedusha? In other words, everything has to exist from Kedusha. Can't exist, even Klippa, the lowest level of evil must exist from Kedusha. So you have the revelations of Kedusha reveal Kedusha, and the concealments of Kedusha create evil. Because what is evil? The definition of evil is a concealment of evil, of Kedusha. What is evil? Darkness. Darkness is the absence of light. The concealment of Kedusha is evil. Now, the level of Chesed, which is the source of the positive Midas, that is Gilui. So that's a revelation of Elokus. What you have Gevura is a contraction, a concealment, a restriction of Elokus. So that's the source of bad Midas. When you think about in Chochmah and Bina of evil, that's what you create. You create bad Midas.
It doesn't help us also with Gevura. Boundaries, sets up boundaries.
Gevura, yeah, in Kedusha, Gevura is good. But Gevura, when it comes down bad.
When you say evil is concealment of Kedusha, it means that evil is Kedusha.
Good morning.
Everything comes from Kedusha.
Right, so what was that light bulb that went off in your head now?
It means that evil is Kedusha. Even if it's concealed.
Evil in essence is Kedusha. The purpose of evil, though, is not an end by itself. It's a means to elevate the higher level of Kedusha to a greater level.
Can you give an example?
Evil. Why does Hashem allow a person okay, I'll tell you. Why does Hashem allow a person to sin? To sin. Why does Hashem allow a person to sin? Hashem obviously allows me to sin. If I want to eat something not kosher, so Hashem is allowing me to move my hand, I move my mouth and to chew it. I mean, it's not coming by itself, right? So why did Hashem allow that to happen if He doesn't want it to happen? Because He wants us to reach a level of tshuva, which brings a person through the evil to a greater level than he did before.
But that doesn't mean the sin is Kedusha.
Everything in essence is Kedusha. Because the essence of everything cannot exist without Kedusha. Who gives chayas to klipa? Okay. Now, if he gives existence, not only it's like a neshama in a body, there's a neshama, now the neshama gives life to the body. Okay. Hashem in world is making the existence of the world, not only the life of the world. The very being of the evil is coming from Hashem. Yes? Okay. But Torah says that because it's that Kedusha fell so low, we can't elevate it. Our job now is to push it away, to weaken it. But in essence, what is evil?
The power of evil comes from Torah.
Yeah. Not only that, then evil itself is godliness. But godliness that we cannot work with. Therefore Hashem says it's forbidden. We can't elevate it, so it's forbidden.
Then what happens in the Eretz Yisrael? What happened in Matos is Kedusha? I don't want to take it there, but
Did Hashem make it happen?
yes.
So is it Kedusha or not?
Not necessarily. Why?
In our eyes it's not. I'll give you a simple example for that where it's more noticeable. Chassidus Yosef is good or bad?
The end was good, Rabbi.
The end was good.
The end was good. Over there we saw the end is good. By the Holocaust we're still waiting.
Got Israel after that.
Come on.
I'm not going to.
Okay, don't go there. By the way, you're there already. We don't see. Because by Mashiach, so when Mashiach comes, Ruach HaTumah, Avim and Oris, and then we're going to see it. Until then, the Avodah is not to see it. And therefore, because we can't elevate it, and therefore, we mentioned Monday night at the class, that why in earlier generations things were allowed, and in later generations they became forbidden. Yeah? Biblically, meat and chicken and milk is allowed.
Couldn't handle it.
Right? Later generations, Chum said, no, you can't eat chicken and milk.
Can't handle it.
Right? Why were the earlier generations allowed to eat and we're not? The answer is, they were able to elevate it, so therefore they're allowed to eat it. We don't have the koach to elevate it now because we're much lower generations. So therefore we're not allowed to eat it. And then you have another interesting concept. There's things that are usher to eat, but you can benefit from it. Certain things are usher ba'ana. Right? That means chazer, which we can't elevate by eating, but we can elevate it by using it. I know you guys are into soccer, but there's something called football, which is a pigskin. Right? It's made from pigskin. Yeah? Now, somebody can play football and be mekad of people to Yiddishkeit. Right? Or you're playing football to be healthy and you're doing it to be able to serve Hashem better.
Or stitches in the surgery.
Whatever, anything that I'm saying, the evil, so over there, you're elevating it through benefit. Certain things that Torah forbids to benefit from, the Shusterman of Peace touches more to the essence, core of it, that you can't elevate it in any way. Why are certain things also bano and certain things not? Again, with the premise that what's also means we can't elevate, and what's mutter we could elevate. So if a chazir is also to eat, but you're allowed to benefit from it, that means the Shusterman of Peace is not permeated through and through the chazir, that you can't elevate it in any way. But you could elevate it in a certain way, not by eating it. Certain things which are also bano, you can't elevate regardless.
Was Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was allowed to have pork?
No. The Rebbe can't eat pork. No, the Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't eat pork.
Well, they are able to elevate it.
They're able to elevate it when they elevate it. No tzaddik was able to say, okay, I can elevate chazer, so therefore I'm going to eat chazer. Or chicken and milk. You can't say, I'll elevate it. That was Adam Arishan's sin. Adam Arishan's sin was, he thought he was a Rebbe and he was only a Chassid. We mentioned this many times. Why did Adam Arishan, you see a Kaposh HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem himself made him. You can imagine Adam Arishan was greater than everything in the except Mashiach, which is Yechida. Adam Arishan was Chayav of the whole world, yeah? Why did Adam Arishan want to eat from the Eitz Hadas? So in the, not Chassidus, but in the room for Chassidus, around, it's explained, he thought he was a Rebbe, and the Rebbe could elevate Shusterman of Peace. So he thought he could eat the Eitz Hadas was Shusterman of Peace. Hashem forbid it to eat. Yeah, it was forbidden. So he thought, I can eat it anyway, because I can elevate Shusterman of Peace, because I'm a Rebbe. What was his problem? Gemara says, an Erev in Chassid Gadol Haya. He was only a great Chassid, he wasn't a Rebbe. Adam Arishan's sin was he thought he was a Rebbe when he was only a Chassid.
But I thought a Rebbe can't elevate pork either.
He can't.
My brother Isaac also made a mistake.
Who?
Isaac.
Yitzchak Avinu?
Yeah.
With what?
He wanted to elevate.
It wasn't a mistake. He thought he could do it. Hashem said you could do it, but not now.
How could we distinguish between Rebbe and
How can you distinguish or extinguish?
No, Moshe.
No.
Moshe Rabbeinu.
No, how did Adam Rishon have a perspective about knowing those differences? There was nothing existed before, he had no history, no people.
Adam Rishon,
How could we have any idea what's the difference?
because he was Adam Rishon. He's a great guy. Okay, so he says, like it says, is Yamina is smaller. It says in there, like, there's the right side, there's the left side. The sit to the Yamina is the sit to the Gedusha. Mikav smell mishtausha v'nimshach yinikas achitzeinim. And from Gvura granted is Kedusha. But it's a limited level of Kedusha. So when that comes down, then it becomes mamish evil. Okay? It says Nahar Dinur, there's a spiritual Nahar up there. It says that from one level to another level in Gan Eden, you have to go through Nahar Dinur. It's a spiritual Nahar. So it says, where does that river, what creates that river? The tears of the Chayis HaKodesh, of the Malachim. And Gehenim is Nisava from Pselis of Gvura. Therefore, Atik on Nazar. Therefore, how do you rectify evil, which comes from the small, from the left? Is Aidei Shatzarach Li, is small, is Kala B'Yamina. It has to be by smell becoming part of Yamin. Like it says, Chol HaTorah Yesod Zeh. And the whole Torah is based on this concept, that you have to make smell into Yamin. What does that mean? Like it says in the beginning of Parshas Korach, Shemizeh ha'yochet Korach. What was the Aved of Korach in the spiritual sense? Shaleirot she'es small is kalu b'yamin. He didn't want Gvura to be part of Yamin. Korach maintained Yamin is Yamin, as small is small, and therefore, you can't do those things. Again, when you learn these stories in Korach, it's in Torah, so you learn it superficially. Korach was this rotten guy, he made a fight against Moshe Rabbeinu, or Yeravim ben Nevat, seemingly this terrible Jewish king, Yeravim ben Nevat, that caused the Jews to worship idols, The Gemara says there was nobody greater in Torah than Yeravim ben Nevat. Everything in Torah learned 103 ways. There's nobody greater in Torah than Yeravim ben Nevat. You're not talking about low lives off the street. Torah says, Korach was smart. He knew exactly what he was doing. But he made a mistake. He wanted now, his smell, not to be part of Yamin. Yamin, smell. You know what? Great people in Torah, they don't talk about these, even Dasan Vavirim, as bad as they were, obviously Torah mentions them. They were very great people. They just messed up a little bit. What?
I thought Torah wanted to unite. He wanted to become a Kohen, Gadol. He wanted to cause unity, but it was supposed to not supposed to be.
When you want to cause unity in a way Torah says no, then it doesn't accomplish unity. If anything, it accomplishes the opposite. He wanted to accomplish unity, but not the way the Torah said.
So in what way was he old? Doesn't work.
Yeah, how do you see that?
In what way do you see that he
I don't know. Ask the Zohar. They said it, not me.
Reform, whoever the creator reforms were great people.
Not great people. They're learned people.
Learned people.
They're a big Talmidei Chacham, you should know, those guys.
But you said they are not great.
They're not great. They know how to learn. But learning without coming down into action is worthless. Okay, that's the opposite of the whole Torah. Torah is Chesed. Therefore, Torah is called Torah's Chesed, which is Yamin Chashem Nadari B'Koyach. Yamin Chashem Tiratzai. The pasuk says twice in Oz Yashi, Yamin Chashem Nadari B'Koyach, Yamin Chashem Tiratzai. So Rashi quotes that what's the double Yamincha? By Kedusha, the small becomes Yamin. Korach wanted to separate. Yamin is Yamin and small is small. The pearl, that's not what David wanted. David wanted that small becomes Yamin. That means Klipa, which comes from small, becomes elevated to Yamin. So it is also all the punishments of Torah, even though they're called Gvura, punishment, right? You're punished for the sins. Nevertheless, they're really chesed. Why? Because what's like we learned many times, what is punishment in Torah? Punishment is Torah, is not a damnation, it's not a punishment. It's a cleansing process. The neshama sinned, it became spiritually impure, dirty, to use physical language, and punishment cleanses the person, so now they're clean again. So nobody's going to say, because you have a dirt spot, and you have to rub it, a lot, or you have a garment, what they used to do, they used to have those boards, remember the washboards, and they used to rub it and torture to get out the stain, Nobody's going to say, I'm torturing the garment. What are you really doing? I'm cleaning the garment. Right? You have to look at what the purpose over here. Torah is chesed, so the punishment of Torah is also chesed. Outwardly, it looks like gvura. But what does Torah teach? In essence, everything of gvura is really chesed. Any tzimtzum is for the sake of gilui. Because you can't have a revelation if it's an infinite thing is going to be revealed, then you can't have a finite world created with an infinite revelation. Right? Or if a teacher, a brilliant teacher, wants to teach little kids, yeah, he's going to teach them on his level, they get nothing. So what does he have to do? He has to limit the seichel to the level of the kids. But without that symptom, the kids get nothing. Like we said a million times, you want a cup of water, and you're by Niagara Falls, and there's millions of gallons of water, and you want to take a drink, it's not going to help you. You know why? Because you don't have a cup to limit it. You have millions of gallons of water gushing, but without the symptom, without limiting it into a cup, you're not going to get it. So the Eibishter, when he made good, that's the doubt that I've been saying this whole time. When the Eibishter made the world, Hashem made the world, and he had to limit himself to combine Gvul and Bli Gvul, Ayin and Yesh, because making Yesh mi Ayin means you're connecting Ayin and Yesh. Now, how do you connect Ayin and Yesh if they're two? Essentially, they're opposites. By tapping into a level which is above both. Right? Then when the Jews are Vedas to make the Yesh back into the Ayin, again, how do you do that? So now the Rebbe is explained through the level of Torah. Because Torah is the union of Shalom. Because Torah taps into a greater level that allows two opposites to be connected. And therefore, ultimately, he's explaining in this base that Klippa comes to the level of Gemara. But the ultimate purpose is to have to transform it to Kedusha. Kamar Mazal, like the Gemara says about the punishments, called by Chayev Krisis Shaloku. A guy was Chayev Kodesh, right? If he got Malchus, Nifter Lidei Krisasa. They don't have to get Kodesh anymore. So the guy that was Chayev Kodesh got Malchus, the Gemara says Malchus. So then he's freed from the punishment, from Kodesh. V'chein afilu einish mitzvahs bezdin. Guy could say by Achan. Yarcha Hashem, he messed up over there in the Mishkan. Yarcha Hashem hayem hazeh. Hayem hazeh ta'achad. Now you're darkened. V'yat ta'achad lo'il mabah. His name was Achan, but Achan means like messed up. Dark. So he says, now you're called Achan, you're not going to be zealous, sakin nafshi. Mash'enk in a chet atzmei, but the sin itself, that's man mamavis. It's worse than death. In other words, the punishment is chesed. It's not death, it's cleansing. And the sin itself is death. What's a sin? Sin is spiritual death, spiritual cutting off from Hashem. Which spiritually means that what?
Severance.
Severance from Hashem.
Yeah. Spiritual severance.
Not severance pay. Not severance pay from Hashem.
No.
You're severed from Hashem.
So the punishment and sin both come from the small, the left.
But in essence, it's Yamin.
Both in essence.
Yeah.
But one is worse than the other. Sin is worse than
Yeah.
Wow.